The Securities and Exchange Commission's lawsuit against Ripple Labs has been going on for much longer than we anticipated, but it seems that the day when everything will come to an end is getting near. If you concentrate and pay closer attention to the moves that Ripple has been making behind the curtains, you can clearly see they are pushing along with business as habitual, regardless of the regulatory threats. Numerous details in the case have been closed up and locked from the eye of the public. So, because of that, there has been no ceremonious and formal word about how the case is doing. That actually means that there is absolutely no way that the market could have really priced this into XRP's current situation. If they happen to be fortunate and victorious, or they somehow deal with this situation and manage to escape the serious repercussions, which we do think they will, a lot of people will be caught off guard, and the price will most likely rebound and recover to new all-time highs and beyond. Let's get into the video. Welcome to CryptoZip, the most truthful and trustworthy channel out there. Every day on this channel, we show you how to make money in crypto. If you do happen to like money and crypto as well, then make sure to hit that red subscribe button. In today's video, we are going to evaluate and analyze some of the products offered by Ripple Labs, and also talk about how they can thoroughly and fundamentally change the legacy banking system. We are aware that a lot of you would like to see and witness the traditional system completely replaced, and we must admit that we feel the same way. We also think that this perception and vision could become a reality in the next several decades, but as a matter of fact, it is not a practical and down-to-earth kind of goal in the short term. There is going to be a transformation and transition phase where some blockchain startups work with the banks and bring them into our system. If an open blockchain network can come up with and supply worth and value to these kinds of institutions, they will have no other choice but to change their business models to match the standards of the crypto industry. It is not classified and top secret that Ripple is positioned for this task better than any other project in the industry. Ripple corporate outreach goes all the way back to 2004, so the company was constructing and building relationships in a legacy system years and years before Bitcoin and the first crypto boom. Ripple was also conducting experiments with distributed ledger technology, or better known as DLT, so they were pretty high speed to recognize and foretell the potential of crypto, and launched XRP back in 2012 when the industry was just getting started. Most blockchains have been spread and developed as networks that exist outside of the traditional system, which had been a great thing and led to an incredible amount of innovation in this field. But Ripple proceeds to focus on strengthening and building up its already existing relationships with institutions and offering solutions to improve their payment rails. Ripple briskly started to grow and evolve a suite of products designed to make payments easier for banks and to improve their businesses with blockchain technology. At the beginning, these products were branded separately, like XVIA and XCurrent, but later they were merged and incorporated with a few other services to form what is currently best known as RippleNet. The name of another service earlier on, called XRapid, was also changed during this rebrand and reinvent. This kind of service is not known as on-demand liquidity, or ODL, and is also a key component and element of the RippleNet ecosystem. The strengthening, reinforcement, and rebranding of these offerings has made Ripple's network a bit easier to understand and appreciate. But a lot of industry insiders suspect that these actions were taken to protect Ripple if XRP was deemed to be a security by the Securities and Exchange Commission. A lot of other changes were made to XRP's utility and value as a huge part of this process as well. XRP asset was not always required and demanded to use Ripple software, but at this very moment, it is being used to prove liquidity to the network as part of the on-demand liquidity service. Ripple's on-demand liquidity, or better known as ODL service, uses the XRP asset to provide liquidity to the network, so banks can use it as a bridge currency to streamline settlement times for international payments. One of the grounds and causes that it takes so long to process international payments is the need to exchange between currencies. The banks on each side of the transaction need to have numerous and various currencies on hand, or they need to manually go through the process of exchanging currency every time someone makes an international transaction. With Ripple's ODL service, banks and payment providers will be able to use XRP to send value across borders without even exchanging currencies. This will also let and permit for nearly instant settlement times, something that is physically out of the question and impossible under the current system, which normally requires a couple of days at the least for processing. Sometimes it can take much longer than that. Company Ripple Labs has also argued the XRP asset is not under their control because it is open source and many other firms can freely use the blockchain if they wish. This is most likely one of the key arguments that will be made in Ripple's court case against the Securities and Exchange Commission. The evidence has been mounting that Ripple will get off with a slap on the wrist and only need to pay a small fine to keep the regulators at bay, just as we have seen with other similar cases from the ICO era. If that happens, Ripple will essentially have the regulatory permission to start working with banks, just as the banks are finally starting to warm up to this kind of technology. When banks all over the world will actually notice and see what RippleNet is capable of, it is going to be very hard for them to keep using the same ancient technology that they've been using for the past several decades. It is the best time for a change. Traditional institutions will be rushing and racing to patch together their own blockchain solutions to compete with Ripple, but their products won't come close because they are not as familiar with the technology, and they are years and years behind on evolution, growth, development, and testing. RippleNet creates a blockchain of banks and financial institutions that are all plugged into the same network, permitting them to transfer money and information much faster and cheaper than ever before in the history of the world. Modern banking involves a variation and diversity of different intermediaries who need to process the payments across numerous jurisdictions and platforms, and each step along the way, the transaction is slowed down while the funds are verified. And as one would expect, it would stay like this forever, but at this very moment, they are being demanded and forced to compete with the other fintech startups like Cash App and Venmo, along with crypto assets which both offer a far better user experience. It is exactly how the RippleNet software is being pitched to institutions. It is a kind of network that they are going to need to use if they want to stay relevant in the new digital landscape. Ripple Labs has been working for nearly a decade to provide products and services for this unique and one-of-a-kind case. Ripple will even be offering lines of credit for financial institutions that will make it even more tempting, attractive, and enticing for them to use the network. This will allow them to take dominance and advantage of Ripple service without a massive ahead-of-time investment. That is a very smart way for them to get their foot in the door. In the years to come, Ripple will most likely expand their suite of products and offer new kind of services as the industry progresses, develops, and matures. As we have already seen with the incoming launch of the Flare network, Ripple proceeds to contribute to the blockchain industry. They are one of the few development teams working on products specifically and precisely targeted at banks and traditional finance. Thank you.